Almost. Hidden. Daughter moved to Austin this past week, her and a boyfriend. So they are now Texas people.
Who moved to Austin?
My daughter. A meeting to order. And let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty. All right, let's do roll call. Bill Shute, I am present. Bill Stewart. Anybody heard from Bill?
I saw him last week at Home Depot.
Well, other than at Home Depot?
I
Nothing?
did not hear.
Okay. Hayden,
I'm here.
Jim,
Present.
and our alternate is not going to be required, but thank you. Okay. So that takes us to item 4, seating of alternates, not required. And item number 5, additions, deletions, amendments to the agenda.
None from staff.
I have none.
Okay, there are no additions, deletions, or amendments to the agenda. Okay, item 6 is the approval of the agenda for the approval for the agenda today. I guess so. We do have a motion to approve the agenda.
I so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The agenda is approved. Hello. Thank you. Sorry. I didn't want to move close enough. All right, back to item 3 on roll call. Bill Stewart.
Here.
Okay, we're moving right along, Bill. So we just approved the agenda, item 6. All right, so we're at item 7, public comment. Any members of the public present?
We do not have any members of the public online.
Or any questions submitted?
No, they weren't.
No?
No.
Okay. Then I don't have to read item 7, correct? Okay, that takes us to item 8, the approval of the July 16th minutes. You should have the minutes in front of you. If everybody could take a moment to refamiliarize yourself with them.
I move we accept the minutes as published.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Hey. The July 16th, 2024 minutes have been approved. That takes us to item 9, comments and requests. 9A, general manager's comments.
Yeah, be brief today, but a couple things just wanted to update the committee on. We do have a couple of just some things that are coming to the board in the coming months. A big one, and this has to do with our event, but we're going to have our notice of completion and acceptance of the Thoroughbred lift station. So that'll be on the
Right.
board agenda for this coming month.
Scheduled for the 4th or 9th.
The event is scheduled for the 4th, September 4th.
4th, right.
And then I think the day after that, we have the tour, right?
Yeah.
The day after that is the tour down to Padre Dam. So I know many of you are planning on attending that. So yeah, those are a couple things coming up.
So the board could choose not to accept the lift station. Did you say it's got acceptance? What was?
Yeah, that's, kind of standard operating procedure. Once the project's complete, it'll come to the board for kind of final
Stamp.
acceptance. And really what it does is those funds then get kind of placed into our, schedule of assets.
Yeah,
Right.
it gets placed on the books.
Based on the, yeah, that's really kind of the action that does. And it's a good process because it just makes sure those things always get put on the books, right? That nothing gets missed. So it's an action at the board and then that happens. So so should be official and then we'll have the event about a week later. So
Perfect.
a couple other things just I wanted to mention just because you guys kind of get these things on the back end. If not, we've got, and we talked about this at our E&O committee. We had a leak out on Gopher Canyon, right in front of the
Havens.
new development, the Havens development, 180 homes or something.
The second one in the last 5 years.
Maybe more than that. This definitely just corrosion. It's corrosion related. And pipe is not in good shape. And the interesting thing is they have a pavement section. They had to do like a big improvement section out in front of that development. The leak just happened to occur right in the middle of that improvement section. So in essence, what we got is we have a big paving project that we're going to have to do. And it's going to be pretty expensive. Kind of depends a little bit on kind of county requirements and things because they've got the jurisdiction out in Gopher Canyon. But staff's plan is there's actually a section of pipe we'd like to just go ahead and replace while we're out there. It's kind of a nominal cost increase. The pavement is going to be the bulk of the work. If we're going to be there anyways, and it would just be a project that our staff did about 350 feet of distribution piping that we're planning on replacing. There's a couple other benefits come along with it, but in essence, we know it's a bad pipe and we don't want to go fix that pavement more than
Again.
once.
Again.
Yeah. And so that'll be coming to the board to kind of a emergency CIP project that we want to get started on ASAP. And the developer obviously is very interested as well because they spent a lot of money doing their improvements and now we're going to have to kind of redo a lot of that.
And there's no connection between their improvements and the pipe underneath
No.
it. All of a
No,
sudden,
it's a hole from corrosion and the pipe around it. It is not in great shape either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About 3 years ago, we lost a big section out there in that same general area right
Yeah.
across from the golf course.
Yeah.
And are people living in that development now? Or?
They've sold I think they have about 10 that are occupied, 10 homes that are occupied. They're building 59 is phase one. There's 59 units in phase one. Those are all under construction. And then they have about another 100 and so behind that. It's actually, if you drive back there, it's pretty impressive. There's quite a bit of land back there that they're planning to develop. And they're working on kind of getting all the final approvals and things to move forward with those future phases right now.
So how many ratepayers would we have to notify and what's the communications plan on signage, door hangers?
Yeah. Obviously we'd let them know that the good part about it is we won't have any customers out of water. So we can actually isolate that section. And because just the way the looping and the valves in that area are, even when we did the repair, we were able to keep everybody in water. So that actually just gives us time to do the construction without any customer impacts. And then we're working on the traffic control plan. That's probably the other impact. That's a pretty high speed area. So once we get that set, I think we'll be doing some door hangers and notices to let everybody know kind of what the impacts will be. But I think we're not gonna have to block any of the entrances. And there is actually kind of several lanes now because you have a turn lane and a center, kind of that center divide lane. So there's enough room there, I think, where you can keep traffic flowing in two directions and the turn lane. And so people, you might you'll have some slow your speeds and things like that through there, but I think we'll be able to keep it moving.
So when an unexpected project like this comes up, and it's going to take a little bit of time, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah. It's probably 3 weeks. 3 weeks of construction, 4 weeks of construction, something like that between the piping and the paving and and all that. Yeah.
Do we typically, maybe put out a little press release that the paper would pick up to warn people that that's going to be a slow road if that's a path that they typically take to maybe they want to avoid that for 3 weeks?
Certainly we'll have stuff on our website. I don't know if paper would pick it up fast enough. I mean, we're trying to get out there as fast as we can. We might be able to get,
Probably wouldn't hurt. If
Yeah.
it'll be down for 3 weeks, even if it's a week late, it's,
Yeah, they publish weekly.
yeah. So yeah, we could reach out to Joe Naaman, see if they'd be willing to put something out for us.
I mean, less traffic, the better, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then, like I said, we anticipate traffic's going to continue through. They just might see construction going on. So, but good for people to,
slow down.
yeah, good for people to know.
All right, thank you.
So yeah, so that's a big one. We're also we're getting close, and I'll kind of give you a couple updates on detachment, but we're getting really close on all the work that we're doing with the County Water Authority. So operations plan, facilities acquisition. So those actions are really the one action is going to be the acquisition. Those will be coming before the board here pretty quick. And there is some heat on those actions, and just the reason being, got some pretty good news, I would say. One of our concerns as we're kind of getting into crunch time on the pump stations, and I think our concern for delay was we have to get power to the sites, and so we're reliant on SDG&E to do that for us. And we've been talking to them for a long time. This isn't something we just found out that we were going to have to do. A year ago, we started talking and letting them know, hey, this is coming, this project's coming, this is what we're going to need. Sharing our design with them, going through their planning processes and whatnot. And but when you get to construction, that's where, historically you're kind of on their schedule, not your own. And but so far, it's nice that we're getting these points a little bit early. So we're giving them some time to be able to get out there. But we've got some really firm commitments on them meeting our schedule, which is rare. Our liaison that handles our account has been very instrumental in that, and that's who we've been talking to extensively for the last year. So I think they kind of feel that this isn't something you just dropped on us at the last minute. You've been communicating with us for a long time, and so we've got a really favorable response out there, where I think we're actually going to be able to get that power in place probably next month. And that's as we're finishing. So we're actually finishing the steps to be able to get them out there. And then from everything they've said, they're going to jump on it.
From what I've heard, I'm going to jump in on Jake, because from what I've heard, their traditional approach is you have to have all your equipment set before they even put you on the schedule. Okay, which can then mean you're pushed back in the queue. And through all the work that Jake and the team have done, they're now working on it so that they know we have a completion date of X, and they're ready to roll as soon as that X comes up.
Yes. So that's basically what they've communicated to us, which, very favorable for us. And I think it really puts us where, if that comes through, which we expect it will, we're really on schedule. We're looking at, that October, we'd kind of thrown out that November 1st. That looks very, very realistic for us. So again, great work that the engineering team has done. I mean, it's like daily. We're on this thing. And I've jumped in a little heavier in the last month or so, just with Chad, just to help wherever I can too. But it seems to be really coming together. So I've kind of let everybody know that too. There's a lot of activity that has to happen. Just coordination with LAFCO and Eastern and Met and the County Water Authority and things that Rainbow has to do. And so we're kind of working that list right now with kind of a mid-October date kind of in mind. And obviously that gives us a little flexibility even heading into that November deadline. Or November date. So that's kind of where we're at with that. That's good. Actually, I all morning I've been on the phone Eastern and LAFCO and them just kind of getting them prepped because there are actions that they have to take to do those things. So very appreciative there too. But
Sounds like the incentives helped. We incentivize the contractors to get done.
yes, I think so. And they may end up beating the contract days, which that's great. But, you know, that's why we did it. And to be honest, they've been really they've been fantastic to work with. You know, again, kind of atypical things going on with SDG&E that, you know, based on our experience, but also with the contractor. I mean,
Yeah.
a great example just a couple of weeks ago. You know, we were working through these electrical,
Mhm.
you know, items, and they kind of had on their schedule, you know, we're going to set the building, then we'll pour these pads and pull this conduit and do these different things. And Chad and his group went back to him and said, hey, we actually think this power is critical path. What can we accelerate some of these and move some? And they came back the next day with a revised schedule and, you know, moved their crews around. I mean, it's just been, yeah. So we've been fortunate in a lot of areas on this thing.
Right?
We were due.
We were due.
This is also for SDG&E's cooperation is a big marketing win for them. Because the sooner we get out, the more money the ratepayers are saving.
Yes.
And I don't think they really liked the idea of the headline being Rainbow Detachment delayed by SDG&E.
Right.
That's not what they wanted
Well,
to be in the Village News. So
But we did offer that too, that we would be happy to put out a joint press release praising their, you know,
cooperation support.
they're expediting our efforts and doing those things on behalf of the public. And so they may take us up on that. They could probably use some good
Sure, yeah.
good press.
At least they're fixing the poles on Olive Hill.
Yeah. I think that's about it. We're going to get to crop swap and all those things as part of the presentation.
Okay.
So that's all I got.
All right. Thank you. Any questions for the general manager?
I have a couple comments regarding the thoroughbred lift station.
Mhm.
At the event, sometimes it's a good idea to have a summary sheet that's at the entrance. I don't know if people are going to have name tags or if there's any kind of greeting but it's always good to have a fact sheet on, you know, the benefits of why we did this lift station, what were the costs, and basically another example of the district and the board meeting the needs of its customers by, you know, we got to tell everybody all the good stuff that we're doing because no one else is going to tell them. So,
Yeah.
so I think it's important to have a one pager that could list what this lift station is going to bring to its customers in that area and what it costs and how it's you know, designed to provide service for, I don't know if it has a 35-year life or 50-year life or, you know, whatever you think might be relevant that a novice or a customer might like
One of the
to see.
elements that the lady brought up in the training session for how to deal with the press was
Give them the info.
give them the info. Quotes from the general manager, anything that they can use to drop in for their.
Will they be writing an article on this or will we be issuing a press release that they'll be reporting?
we'll probably do a press release of that the event's taking place and
Mhm.
if they attend. Do we invite them?
We're going to.
Yeah.
We'll probably cover both press release and then follow up
write
with Joe to see if he's available.
To do an article? Okay.
They send the newspaper to press early in the week, so they're a little bit limited on the staff. So it may be one of those things where we have to submit photography. And then they'll follow up with questions.
It'd also be helpful to make sure and put a breakdown of where the funding came from,
Mhm.
because it's not all that much of it's coming from ratepayers, current ratepayers. It's coming from new projects.
Yeah, connection fees paid for a
That
good,
are
good
paying.
portion. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a plus.
Yeah.
For most of our ratepayers. No. Built this very expensive, but long lasting improvement, but that was kind of funded largely by the
That's a good point.
new projects.
Also, if it's possible to say it was constructed on time, on budget, not every project can say that. So if it's.
Well, we might save that for the pump stations.
I'm not so sure that's true. Okay. I got here a little later, so.
Okay,
Always the goal, though.
Yeah.
Always the goal.
Jim, other comments?
Nope.
Questions? Hayden, any comments or questions for you?
Nope.
No.
No, I don't.
Okay. Move on. Item 10, I think we've got slides. Prep one.
So we continue to bring in applications for our crop swap program. We're still in the lead among our other agencies, and we had a total of 4 submissions for the month of July. That's to be anticipated around this time of year. Rancho Water, who's run the program since before the pandemic, has seen historically the average amount of submissions dip down during the summer months because our farmers do not want to be planting during that time period, doing any heavy lifting on their farms. But it should peak back up at the end of September, October to roll into those better months for weather. We're going to be promoting the program in October for National Farmers Day and continue with the smaller rebates, the mulching and best management practices. Those are some of the areas where we don't have as many applications, but Rancho Water wants us to continue to push forward on those rebate items.
I had a neighbor, excuse me.
Yeah.
Could I ask you a question?
Sure.
I had a neighbor ask, when I mentioned, have you seen the crop swap program? And they went on the website and investigated and said, what if I have already done some of these improvements in the last 2 or 3 months? Is there any way to recapture some of that, or is it too late?
We are not able to go and retroactively reimburse or go through the process. Rancho Water has very strict guidelines because we are dealing with their
Grant
program
funds.
and the grant funds. We have to follow every single step of the way. We've had some submissions that were lacking information, and then Rancho Water has to send out their crew and they'll come visit on site to help
Okay.
fill in some of those blanks. But yeah, unfortunately,
Okay.
we can't go back.
Yeah, the grant requires like a pre-inspection, post-inspection kind of a process. And so, yeah, to be eligible for funding, unfortunately, the good news is like every year, assuming the funding is still available, which I think if we run out of funding, this round of funding, we're going to, everybody's committed to going out and seeking more. I know we've already talked to the Bureau of Reclamation about potentially chipping in. And so as you know, they can, if they're going to do it again next year, right? I mulched this year and I'm going to do it again. So now that they know that obviously they could, if they have a new project,
Yeah.
we could accommodate that. Yeah.
I'm up to 90 yards. I'm planning for next year.
And to date, we have 54 submissions starting from our April 30th launch date. We've had 33 projects approved. So we pushed through a lot of projects over the past month. 13 are now in pre-inspection. And then we just had a few come through this past week. So we have a total of 6 submissions between July and August of this week. And we have a total of $409,000 in funding that's been approved.
How much?
409,000. We went
Great.
past that $200,000 cap and now we're
Keep taking everybody else's money.
we're in the
Yep.
communal fund and we're leaving the pack there.
Nice.
Then this is a breakdown of project type. Avocado rootstock still continues to be our largest rebate option, followed by crop conversion. We had soil moisture sensors kind of peak up, and so did mulching. And the rest pretty much stayed the same from the previous month's reportings.
Just out of curiosity, on regional distribution, is there a concentration of these projects like in Rainbow versus Bonsall or Division One or?
They're pretty spread out.
Yeah.
We have an even amount. I'd say your area, Director Max and Director Johnson's
Right.
have a larger portion
Kind
of
of
applications
agriculture,
submitted.
yeah.
Yeah, Director Dale doesn't have as many
Yeah.
in her area, but you're doing well.
I was just curious whether, there's a hot spot area or.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they seem to be spread out, kind of spread out through the
Cool.
district. Yeah.
I think one of the side benefits of all this is that it really gets the district communicating with the end user in a way that we've got money for you. And I mean, that doesn't happen
Happen,
very
yeah.
often
Yeah.
at any district. So it's a great tool to stay connected. And, here's what we've done for you lately. So
Yeah.
hopefully this program can continue on in the years ahead.
Yeah, this one too is really nice because the requirements aren't overly burdensome, right? There is the inspection and they want to make sure your project, it fits what we're funding and those kind of things, meets the guidelines. But sometimes you get into these things and it's so onerous, the applications and the things that are required. And this one just doesn't have those bureaucracy layers in it.
Mhm.
It's pretty straightforward. So that I think that helps too.
And the team, the administrators at Rancho Water are really wonderful with working with our customers. If they have any questions or need to fill in the blanks, I send as much information as we can. Josh will pull account information and we send it over. So it's nice to have a partner that's willing to work with our customers. And then these are just some average project details. Average property size is between 1 and 5 acres. We found that the average rebate for crop conversion is anywhere from 15 to 45K. And then avocado rootstock is 9 to 45. And then very interestingly enough, 45% of our applicants are repeat submissions. So we have someone coming back, they've gone through their smart irrigation application, mulch, and then they want to keep doing another. So they're also telling their neighbors. There are a few properties that are next to each other. So word of mouth is definitely spreading within our community.
Any other questions or comments on crop swap?
Nope.
Excellent.
Nice report.
All right, item 11, customer service call metrics.
All right, got some data for you guys.
Great.
All right, so this is going to be the average hold time for the month. So we take all the calls throughout the month and then we give the average hold time. So for May, we were at 38 seconds, June 47 seconds, and then July 40 seconds. So pretty consistent. You can see that trend line is pretty stable there. And this is going to be last year, May, June, and July compared to this year. You can see a spike in May. For last year, it's about 1 minute, 3 seconds. 32 seconds for June was actually a record that the district has seen. 32 seconds average hold time for the month. Before that had been around like 45, 46 seconds, and then 47 seconds in July. So again, pretty consistent this year. This is the average talk time. So you'll see a spike in June and July, but that was expected with the rate increases. We sent a lot of material to customers, so we're just spending more time on the phone with customers, explaining what the rate increase entails and detachment and all that stuff. And then this is 2023 compared to this year. Again, pretty consistent. We had a little bit of a spike last year in May. Again, we're just being thorough on the phones, explaining everything. And then this is the total call volume for the month. So in May, we had 954, June 963. Again, the majority of those calls were just about the rate increase and detachment. We changed the wording on the bills, right, where we got rid of the county water authority line item, and then 925 in July. And then this is last year again, May, June, and July. So more calls. Our staff is just engaging with the customers more. I think a lot of the calls, or the increase of calls, I should say, comes with the material we've been putting out. The newsletters, we're having people contact us to update their contact information for shutdowns and things like that. So we've definitely seen increasing calls, which is good, right? Whenever we get those shutdowns or any type of notifications, we're able to notify those customers. That's it for the call metrics. And my team is working on getting the data for all the calls that we received. So I was working with Ahmed. We created a tool. So every call that we get, we're going to basically mark what it is they're calling about. So we're gathering the data for this month and next month, and I'll report it in the October meeting.
Great. Cool.
Do you have the breakdown of how many people are the dial-ins versus the callbacks? Do we know any percentages on that? How many people take advantage of the callback feature? Say,
Yeah, I don't have that available, but I could definitely get that. Yeah.
Just curious how many people are taking advantage of that, because that's gotta help the wait times, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because they'll select, okay, like, oh, call me back later, and they just get off the phone. But it automatically prompts us to call them back like immediately. So it's not like they're waiting like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. They get called right away.
Mhm.
But yeah, I could definitely look into that. I don't know if that's a feature that we offer, but I'll find an answer.
Okay, just curious, whenever you have the time.
Yeah, definitely.
Other questions on call service?
I'm
Customer
just
service?
curious, since improvements have been made this year versus last year, was there an upgrade to the phone system, or was there a software change, or?
There wasn't an upgrade to the system. We've had the same system. During this time last year, we had brand new staff, customer service staff. So a lot of my time was spent training them, just really being thorough with them. So they've been here for about a year now. So a little bit more seasoned, so they're a little bit more familiar with those responses and those calls.
They started like the second week of May last year. So when you saw the graph that he showed where the average hold time was higher in, is it?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Average hold time was over a minute in May. I mean, the first week it was with only Josh and one other employee. So the managing what's normally 4 people or 3 people, and then the next 3 weeks was training the new hires. So you can definitely see that.
Yeah.
in the-
I'm sorry. We're striving to keep it under a minute. So that's kind of like the benchmark is to keep that average hold time under a minute each month.
Well, they're definitely happier when they start talking to you, when they wait such a short amount of time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And now all the years are blurring together, so I don't know, it's pandemic brain, but when did we make the improvements to the system with regards? I know that the auto call or the callback feature wasn't enabled. We worked on all of the menus. Was that more than 2 years ago?
Yeah,
I
that
don't
I'll take
remember.
the lead.
Was it-
We upgraded the phone system back in, I believe, around 2019.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We had like an old system here that
Right.
was using like 7 POTS lines,
Mhm.
and then we moved over to this system, which is
That was 19.
voice over IP. I'm sorry.
That was in 19.
Yeah,
And then we kept enhancing the functionality of it, right?
we kept
Oh,
enhancing the functionality. We originally started with them with the contact center software, and then we wanted to add features like the callback
Mhm.
feature, and we wanted to have, like, when you walk into our customer service area, there's the analytics that's displayed to our employees.
Mhm.
That way they know how many customers are in the queue,
Mhm.
how long they've been waiting and things like that, just to help them
Mhm.
understand, if the queue's getting a little bit too large, that they
Right.
need to deal with the calls quicker.
Gotcha. All right. Well,
It was really fortunate that in the year before the pandemic started, Ahmed had switched us over to this VoIP system, and that's what made it possible for us to
Remote
pivot so
in and-
quickly when
Oh,
COVID
good.
happened, and
Yeah.
we had the forced remote work. We were very fortunate to have this system.
That allowed our customer service reps to take calls
from home.
from home.
Yeah, that was great. Okay. Well, yeah, I just remember that there was a new system, but then there were these incremental changes that have been made.
One other question I have is that on other online sites, I found that all of a sudden a chat comes up where you can try to chat with someone without actually engaging the phone system. Do we have that capability?
We don't have that capability. I don't know.
We yeah, I don't believe they do. That capability is first, like, AI will handle it just so that they try to answer your questions, like,
Okay.
how much do I owe this month? Well,
Yeah.
can you provide me with? So it's something that we can implement. And then at that point, we will have to figure out some way to connect them to the CSR so that they can actually chat back with them.
Mhm.
What we have seen though is like historically, people prefer to talk to a live person
Yeah,
rather
for
than do
sure.
things online. We have a form on our website where they can fill out, hey, contact me about this, right? Whatever the issue is. It does get used, but not as
Occasionally.
much. Occasionally, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, people just like to talk to a live person.
Well, and the benefit is that, I mean, a lot of times I'll use a chat. engage on a chat because you have to wait so long to talk to a real person if you ever get to talk to a real person. So they force you into that chat, right? Where we actually have the ability to talk to our customers. So it's kind of a nice thing.
Yeah.
I bet I've been in chat 10 times. I can't ever remember satisfactorily concluding what I was trying to do in a chat
Mhm.
because a lot of it's, like you say, is AI. You're not really talking to somebody.
No,
You're talking to a database and it may, the keywords you give it may, come up with some kind of response. Usually, sometimes it's nonsensical.
Frustrating.
So I wouldn't be anxious to go there specifically because if you're seeking something fairly simple, it's hard for them to respond by chat. If you're seeking an answer, most of our answers and the reason for the training is that they're complex. And there's not just a simple yes or no answer to their question. The answer, well, why did the rates go up?
Exactly.
Well, that that's not a simple thing. And you've got the knowledge now, you got this, you're scripted out as well as they have, intimate knowledge of those answers and can give them, but they take time to deliver it. And a little more than Chat GPT.
Yep.
There you go.
It'll be interesting to see, once you find out the reasons for the calls in terms of where they're going, if, after the detachment and there's some normalcy that goes with understanding that it's all absorbed. It'll be interesting to see if, is 900 calls too much a month? Should it be more like 400?
well, are there typical calls that you're finding from your database that can be as an automated response?
Yeah.
Or maybe they just like to talk to it.
Yeah.
We're very friendly.
Yeah.
Might be the high point of somebody's day.
Try calling SDG and E's
Oh,
line.
oh,
It just-
wow.
It is absolutely.
But we're high on SDG&E. They're on
Right,
time,
right.
on
Our
time.
friends at SDG&E.
Jake told me about this just after a power outage in which I had to verify that I was a customer in order to tell them my power was.
Wow.
There's an app for that though. You just click right there, report that outage.
I
What
had
we
it.
talking about last week?
Yeah.
No, My
I
lights
had-
flashed, but my power wall kicked right in. It was a good deal.
I got to tell you, I had a conversation with SDG&E this few days ago because my wife picked up. If you have solar, they send you this summary billing that tells you nothing,
Yeah,
and you go behind it and there's nothing.
yeah.
So you don't know, is this gas? Is this electricity? For what billing period? None of that. And so finally, I went through their phone system to try to get to a human, and it
Yep.
took a while, but I did.
Yep.
And so my wife paid the bill as it showed, even though we didn't know it.
Yeah.
And so I explained it to the young lady, and that was the most pleasant customer service conversation I've had in a long time. And they said, we'll have a checkout in 2 days to reimburse you for the amount that you should not have paid.
Hey, yeah.
But
This is what you owe, but because you're on solar, you don't have to pay it until true up.
that's exactly what she said to me.
Little bitty type underneath.
But there's not going to be anything at our true up because we're generating way more power.
Well, you're
than we
helping
are
the
using.
grid.
Yeah, we are.
We're helping the grid. All right, moving off the customer service metric. And now community events update.
Our next event is going to take place on September 4th. It's gonna be our Thoroughbred lift station opening. The operations team brought that project online last month, so it's our 8th lift station for the district. Our event is going to start at 9 a.m. and we're gonna get you in and out really quick. Have a couple speeches, light refreshments, and then take a quick tour around the facility. We've invited project partners, the
We
school
can't
district. Yeah.
get ringers to cater it for us.
Mimosas, huh?
9 a.m.
We've invited our
You're
neighboring
thinking of the
agencies,
detachment part.
local representatives. We're gonna invite the media. We have a very good turnout so far from our staff, our board and committee members, so we look forward to seeing you next month.
Great.
And then the day after is our,
Water just.
annual field trip. So we're going to Padre Dam. It's going to take place on September 5th. It's going to be bright and early, 7:30 a.m. To be here. And you're going to be touring the East County Advanced Water Purification Program. This photo here is an aerial shot taken from August 4th. You're going to tour the facility north of Santee Lakes, and this facility will treat 16 millions of gallons per day. Their team has a whole press packet available for you, tons of facts and pictures and videos that will be available that day.
Thank you for guys setting that up.
Yeah.
Very good.
Is this Florida shower or is it just recycled? They pump it back in?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know the details. I don't know the details. I know it's multiple agencies that are partnering in it, but yeah. But I don't know the intricacies of where it's moving. We'll definitely report back.
Love to go, but the horses call.
Yeah.
I'm going.
And then
I'm
October
fascinated
is
with it.
the tentative month for the North County Fire Open House. It's with several of our partnering emergency agencies where we get a chance to interact with the community, give away some more promotional material, answer questions in person. So we have a strong turnout from our operations and meters team. So they're there to provide all the insight we have. And we'll hand out collateral items, use up some of those avocado leftover promotional items, but it's mostly an event for kids. They get a really great hands-on experience with a helicopter. They get to use a fire hose, do little demonstrations. It's a great networking event for us, for our team, and great for the kids and families.
With North County Fire too, just so you guys know, great relationship with all the special districts, local special districts. It's I think a little unique, to be quite honest, small town kind of thing, but really good relationship. And now we just realized like a lot of our, business is overlapping, especially when it comes to, people building ADUs and, service requirements and, we were dealing with a lot of the same customers. It was kind of the point, but we started a quarterly coordination meeting with them. So our, teams get together, Chad, Robert, and their group, and just making sure we're all on the same page as far as, they're bringing requirements for water and making sure we can meet those, and how do we look at things. It's been good. We've had 2 meetings so far, but just kind of keeping those relationships tight.
Excellent.
They
Good
also offer.
Positive feedback from them. I had to
Yeah.
call,
Oh, yeah.
call 911 a couple of weeks ago and they came out. We got to chatting and they said, "Oh yeah, Robert's great."
There's also CPR training. So kids get like a rough, if you see up here on the right of the screen, they're doing
Dummy.
some demonstrations, where the kids get to go through the basic steps of how to respond when there's an emergency, what they can do. And they get a little sticker. So it's a great event for families.
And then as far as the collateral and stuff, so if we do that 1 pager for the lift station, if we have any of those types of things,
Yeah.
that would be great. If there's any kind of detachment update, whether it's a reprint, or
We usually
reprint
bring-
of a,
We usually bring promo materials related to the heli hydrant because,
Right, sure.
it's a safety of themed event. And that's always fun for the kids to.
yeah, I was just thinking about the parents, that's all. So given
Mhm.
that with the timing of this and the November,
Mhm.
from the detachment,
Mhm.
it'd be great to have any of that. Okay. Well, that's great. Questions, comments on the events update? No? Okay, item 13, newsletter content planning.
For the month of August, we sent out 2 newsletters, one to our a quarterly newsletter to our non-ratepayers, so our folks who are in HOAs or mobile home parks or apartments. You'll see it in your packet you received with your agenda. And then our August monthly newsletter went over the pipeline relining project. There's a map and then a link with the QR code there to the latest information on that project from San Diego County Water Authority. We have tips for being prepared for an emergency with apps that our customers can download for free to receive alerts from Alert San Diego. We have the Genesis app, and then also we really are pushing forward to update your contact information on our website. Ahmed was so kind and created a form now, so you don't have to call, you just fill out a form
Nice.
online. And
Perfect.
that information feeds directly to us. The 2024 poster contest winners are on side 2 with their artwork and then a photo feature. And then Met is offering a water efficiency workshop down in Balboa Park next month. And it's a free class specifically aimed at landscape professionals where they can earn a dual certification in just one. It's a series of classes, and there's free lunch offered. There's a QR code link to sign up for that there.
Okay.
So looking forward to September, we are going to touch on National Preparedness Month. Tips from the EPA on how to assess your needs, make a plan, engage with your network, set up a plan that's specific to your household or your business. We're going to highlight the Watch Duty app, which is an app that our team uses to stay alert on the latest incidents. And then a reminder to update your emergency contact information. We'll give a update on the Thoroughbred lift station. We'll have photos and times from our event to include with this update. Advertise the fire station open house, which will take place in October. I believe it's first or second week in October. We'll have that from the September newsletter. And then a push for the survey. October, we're going to highlight National Farmers Day and look back at the history of Rainbow and the farming community's impact on the formation of our community, the role they've played with getting us in line with water available to our area, and then transition over to fall planting with some native plants and photo features, as well as push the Met turf and tree rebate program. There's very limited funding, so it's a first come first served program. So we want to make sure we're getting that information out to our customers. And lastly, the water footprint calculator. It's a free online tool that allows our customers to take a look at the amount of water they're using and then the virtual water that's used through all the goods that are purchased, whether it's water involved with like shipping or purchasing fruit, all sorts of household items that really hone down how much water you're using.
Is this gonna make me feel good or is this gonna make me feel bad?
I went through it. It's quick. It's only a 5-minute assessment, and it really, if you're not an over water usage user, you're making sure that you're putting everything on timers. You're not taking 30-minute showers. You're pretty much in the clear there.
Okay, it's not like when the power companies tells you how you rate against your
Right.
customers.
Yeah.
It's like you're the worst person on the
Right.
planet.
No,
You're
no,
skewing the curve, right?
Yeah.
yeah, it's primarily your food, your electricity, your gas, and your home goods kind of
Got it.
create that virtual footprint of your water usage.
Okay, great. Any thoughts or comments on newsletter planning?
I have a couple of suggestions. There seems to be an online social media trend of educating people more on all the contaminants in our food supply.
Mm.
And with plastics and all the insecticides and everything, which is pushing people to kind of grow their own vegetables and really, be more self-sustaining. And we live in a community that has the land to do it with the acreage that we have. So I see a trend starting to happen. And so I'm not sure in future planning of events or things like that, whether the district would want to somehow spearhead getting information out to the customers to encourage them to grow their own vegetables or partner with other.
Feed the squirrels.
Yeah.
Rabbits.
Yeah, maybe that's the other thing.
Like buy stock in fencing, the hardware block, right?
I was getting ready to say, can we, how expensive are seed? Maybe we can encourage them to buy seed so they'll use more water.
That's.
Wastewater sales.
Yeah. Anyway,
But on
that's,
to your point, though, the
Yeah.
fall planting, whether it's things that are native plants or types of vegetables or other types of crops that are good for this soil and this climate.
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
And we talked a lot about that as far as the types of resources that are available. So people are planting things that make a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
For the area.
April is National Garden Month.
oh, okay.
So maybe April. is-
Something to target.
So, because that's when a lot of people are planting for the spring, and
Yeah.
so maybe that would be a
Put
good
it-
month
put it on
where
the
we could
list.
put
Yeah.
on our list.
Future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I don't know if there's other organizations that you can partner with that will spread, help spread more information. Because it seems like the more we can partner with groups, the greater our outreach is. And, Rainbow becomes a leader in setting the tone.
There are programs available through the Audubon Society and a few grants. Some of our agencies to the south of us have participated in a seed garden, but their agency put up the costs to
Mhm.
put those seeds together, and then you have to solicit another partner to kind of pitch in the rest of it.
Mhm.
It was a big project, but it was very nice. They had I think it was Valicitos had an event maybe 2 months ago where they invited their customers to come and learn a little bit more about planting, the schedule of it,
Mm.
how to follow through, and then they gave
Partner
them
with Moon Nursery.
a small.
There you go. Buy a very expensive tree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no joke.
But they plan it for
They
you.
plan it for
They
you.
plan it for you. Well, I was up in Temecula at MSJC for a wine making class. And the winemaker, the professor is from Wilson Creek. She's a winemaker at Wilson Creek. And the professor who runs the Small Wine Grape Growers Association for this area, they're starting a huge regenerative farming
Mhm.
project out at Riverside. And it's through one of the university or through that university or whatever, where they're going to be from planting from, I think it's crops to grapes to all kinds of stuff, and it's all going to be based on regenerative farming. So there's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of activities happening. There. Okay, anything else on newsletters? Nope. Okay, we are on public communication and related media stories.
We had quite a bit of news this past month from mid-July to August. You'll see in your agenda packet, there's several articles. July 18th, we had quite a few of those about adopting our budget, our quick comms easement. And then some of our team members got to visit with State Treasurer Ma.
It was a really good event.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a round take. I mean, it came up very last minute, but invited a bunch of folks to join this round table. And basically, she just asked, treasurer asked, hey, go around the table and, what's a couple things that, related to your agency that you represent? What's a couple things that the state should know? And so everybody kind of went around and talked about different stuff, right? Water infrastructure investments and I've talked about, grants for things other than just water supply, but, aging infrastructure and things like that. Schools, schools were there and that. And then at the end, she had taken notes and went through and kind of gave advice on things like, hey, here's programs you probably want to look at. And
Wow.
it was really good. It was really good. She's a smart lady.
See what she does after treasurer, right?
She's going to run for lieutenant governor in 2026.
There you go.
Yeah, she said that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, a few more articles about the student poster contest winners, approval of our rate capacity fee increases. And then our very own Justin Demery was recognized by North County Fire for going above and beyond responding to an incident and coming up with a repair plan to have the water restored to the fire department within 3 hours.
Yeah. I don't know if you read the story, but it was a Saturday and a small pickup truck ended up in the front landscaping of the fire station somehow. But blew out the backflow device and that kind of thing. So these guys responded. The fire department was going to have to, they were talking about hauling out portable restrooms and things to be able to stay open. And they just got a couple guys out there really quick and just put it all back together and had them back in service and no interruption. Yeah. So it was cool.
That may have been what the guys were talking about. Because they mentioned something about pulling a pickup truck out of it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. It was an odd place to end up. I'll say that.
And which one is Station 5?
Station 5 right down by Olive Hill.
Yeah.
Olive Hill,
okay,
yeah, right there.
Okay.
The newest one, yeah.
Is that the one that hit the light pole?
Oh, yeah.
That's the
Someone
sign
bent
for the
over.
fire station?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, somebody hit that a while ago.
Yeah.
Still bent over. That's what Department of Transportation hasn't fixed that one yet. Okay,
And there's a lengthy article, 3-page article in there, where we're mentioned along with FPUD for the detachment reorganization, for the influence studies.
okay.
And that concludes all of our media for them.
Questions or comments?
Well done.
All right, takes us to item 15, suggested agenda items, and this will be for October 15th. There's no meeting in September. There's a meeting in September. So what do you guys think for agenda items we're gonna have feedback on the metrics and
Call types.
all types, all that kind of stuff. So we'll keep 11. Maybe I don't know what you want to call that, but let's keep customer service on there. Do you guys want to have another update on crop swap?
Yeah. Yeah, we
Mhm.
should have a good one by then.
And I think just obviously the events going on that. Rest, anything that we want to add that's going to be coming up? For Q4 that we want to talk about?
There probably will be some updates on events. Some of them will be over by then. Well, because I know Eastern wants to have an event once we do detach.
Mhm.
I think that'll probably take a little more time. Similar to the one they did up in Fallbrook. I think they got something to give us or something.
I think they want to do it around January.
Yeah,
Yeah, that may be January.
yeah. So that might be a little later, but
Oh, anything we. need to
Don't
talk-
we have the big check that we could present to the water authority?
Nah. We'll talk about that.
But anything that we would want to focus on for Q4, because it's surprise, it's beginning of Q4 on it. If we're keeping track, anything? All right, well,
The September 17th event is still go for,
26th.
It's the 26th.
26th is
Yeah.
Yeah.
is the potty.
Com-
Yeah,
com-
community
yeah, Community
appreciation.
Leaders Appreciation Event. Mhm.
and I'll check. I may or may not be, I'm taking some vacation, the beginning of October. I may or may not be back for this. I think I'll be back for this meeting. I'll let you guys. Anything else? All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And we're adjourned. Look at that. Woo. 1:57. Damn.
26th, that's the detective. part.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was it? Hey, Bill, was it?
Yeah, and they're not.
Yeah, oh, yeah, Greg. Yeah, he's a professor at the